Hey guys, today I'm sharing a recipe for the best gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. These cookies are soft and chewy on the inside, have perfectly golden edges, and just the right amount of chocolatey goodness in every bite. The ingredient list for these cookies is really simple with no strange add-ins or funky ingredients. I wanted to keep them pretty classic, and bonus, you can make them dairy-free as well. This quick 15-minute recipe is perfect for when those cookie cravings strike. So let me show you how to make them. The good news is that you need just 8 ingredients for this recipe, including almond flour, coconut sugar, vanilla, salt, baking soda, an egg, chocolate chips, and then butter or oil. If you decide to use coconut oil, just make sure to grab a refined coconut oil rather than virgin coconut oil for a more neutral and less coconutty flavor. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and then in a large bowl add a half a cup of melted and cooled butter or oil, a half a cup of coconut sugar, 1 egg, and this is why the butter or oil needs to be cooled so you don't accidentally scramble your egg, and then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Whisk that all together until the coconut sugar is absorbed into the liquid and the mixture is smooth and slightly thickened. To that, add 2 cups of almond flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And I already had both of those measured out in that mini bowl. Then swap your whisk for a spoon and stir this together until it's thick and the almond flour has been absorbed by the liquid. And the last ingredient, which is a pretty important one, is 1 cup of chocolate chips. But what I like to do is take a small handful of those chocolate chips and save them off to the side so that once I dollop this cookie dough on the parchment paper, I can make sure a few chocolate chips are always on top. And I'll show you that here in a second. Depending on how big you make the cookies, you'll need either 1 or 2 baking sheets lined with parchment paper. And then to dollop these, I always love to use a 1.5 tablespoon cookie scoop. This keeps the cookies all the same size, and I'll link to this one that I use below. If you fill the cookie scoop and then scrape off any excess, you should get about 18 cookies from this mix. That's what I'm doing today, so I'll have 12 cookies on one tray and 6 cookies on a second tray. If you have a larger 2 tablespoon cookie scoop, you'll get about 12 extra large cookies, and then you can use just 1 tray. Though be forewarned that they may slightly touch each other once they've baked. So dollop the cookie dough onto the parchment paper and then use your fingers to gently pat the dough balls into a flatter cookie shape. This cookie dough will not flatten on its own, so you do need to give it a little head start. Once you've got all the cookies flattened, you can add some of those chocolate chips that you reserved to the tops of the cookies where you might see a few empty spots. Bake the cookies for 10 to 12 minutes or until they've flattened a bit further and look lightly golden, though to be honest, the color change will be really subtle, so it's always best to set your timer. And remember that these are chewy chocolate chip cookies, not thin and crispy ones, so they really don't need that much time at all in the oven. When you remove the cookies from the oven, they will still be soft, so let them cool a little bit on the baking sheet. I should also mention that you can use milk chocolate or dark chocolate chips in this recipe. Milk chocolate chips will give you a more soft and gooey chocolate. I used dark chocolate chips today, so didn't quite nail that gooey pull-apart shot. But that's okay because no matter which type of chocolate chips you use, these cookies are the bomb. They're soft and chewy with slightly crispy edges and absolutely heavenly. They're also pretty darn tasty dunked into a glass of my cashew milk, hint hint. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your family and friends, and I'm gonna do my best to not polish off this entire tray of cookies.